Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly champion master, villain master. I don't know. I still don't have a name for this one yet. Game master, I guess, for now, because today we are actually going to be playing a little bit of an educational session of one of my all-time favorites, and that would be Hero Games' Champions Superhero RPG. This is the Champions Complete version, complete with a backwards cover, that I have on mine. We were going to be playing our Star Wars 2D20 system, if you're joining us live, to our Star Wars 2D20 game to wrap it up before my holiday, but unfortunately people were trapped on trains and on vacation and a bunch of other stuff, so instead of that, we are going to jump in and give Champions a try again. And we have one person who's first time playing Champions, which is great, so it's always fun to introduce someone new to the system. If you're not familiar with Champions, this is the one of the oldest superhero RPGs ever published, originally by Hero Games and then by Iron Crown Enterprises for a time, and then back to Hero Games. And yeah, we're just going to jump in because we've got somewhat limited time right now. Let me introduce you to the heroes who will be playing tonight. First up, for the first time, picking up the 3d6s and trying to roll for some successes, adding his OCV and subtracting his DCV, is George.
Hey, I'm George. My character is Johannes Arcadius, who is let's just say he's like the Doctor Strange-like wizard, part of a secret order that has existed on Earth for who knows how long. So he's kind of, trying to be under the radar as much as possible, as opposed to being like sort of an in-your-face hero. And just my history with the game is that I have owned a copy of it and never played it, so I'm very excited to give it a try.
Very nice. And joining us as well, too, with his brand new hero, is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing a new character that me and Kevin just recently made. His name is Mindshift, and he is a psychic speedster.
All right. So, guys,
I'm sure we'll get more into his background and stuff as we actually play, but this is just
and this
a fun,
is more a matter of just sort of banging around the system and introducing George to sort of how the superhero slugfest work in Champions, and giving you a chance to take Mindshift out for a spin. We haven't added all the rules in for Mindshift's powers yet, to the character sheet, because we did not expect to be playing this, but that will not stop us from diving right in. So, first thing is do you guys think that you know each other at this point? Because that'll just determine. I think that Johannes, I think that you are here. Where we're going to be playing is going to be in a mansion, it'll be a mansion in northern, eastern U.S. Near the Canadian border. What you are aware of is that there is one of the things we talked about before we went live is that you've got this ability called your variable power pool, and then it's your spells. What I'm picturing is that unless you assign it to something, it automatically goes into basically like a version of an uncontrolled clairsentience. So basically what it does, those sort of like troubling prophetic dreams, that kind of comes to you unbidden sometimes. And as a result of that, you learn that what you've been dreaming of is a lake and a dagger that is used on you. A bronze thing. And as a result of that studies, I think, I guess getting back to my original question, Jeffrey, do you think you guys, you and Johannes know each other?
Yeah, possibly through Dr. Caliburn.
Okay, nice.
I mean, I'm figuring that Mindshift is going to be a member. What's the name of the Canadian?
We actually don't have our name for our team.
Oh, we don't
yet.
have a little superhero name. No. The Calgary superhero group.
I think we can call. I think
with.
I'm stealing this name from some other superhero product. But what do we call it? The Guard for now.
Yeah.
And
I like it. Okay, so I'm thinking through that. Maybe I've met Johannes through Dr. Caliburn.
Yeah. So what you know, Johannes, is that Dr. Caliburn, he was at one point a phenomenally powerful, picture like a Doctor Strange or Dr. Fate type character, phenomenal, magical powers and whatnot. Something happened and he has not discussed it with you. He's kept it secret from you, but he gave up all of those powers, and basically there is this mansion in Montreal, whose name I still have not looked up again. This is what it looks like. Get rid of these other heroes here.
Wow.
Now, the thing about this mansion is that it used to be a mental health facility, or, in the vernacular of the time, an asylum. So it has a very, well, I guess, and the other thing is it was built on a place of great mystic connection and mystic power. So Caliburn has retired here and has served as sort of a mentor for the Guard, for the fledgling members of this Canadian super team. It has not prevented him from being in contact with other things, and you know that he is also mentoring another mystical superhuman named Warlock. You, I think, came to him to try and find assistance. While Caliburn doesn't have the power that he used to have, and he is forbidden from interfering with whatever pact he made, whatever arrangement he made to give up his power and to secure whatever it was. It also means that he can't directly interfere. Doesn't stop him from being a chatty Cathy and sending people to get into trouble and shit like that. So I think if you needed to pick up on that would he would be an ideal person to go to.
And obviously, he has a lot of knowledge in general about about mysticism. So I think I would definitely have sought him out for a variety of reasons.
Definitely, yeah. And I think that let's get some dice roll in here too. Your character has an ability or skill called. Let's see here. It's like Mystic World or something like that. Arcane or occult lore. Yeah. Oh, one other thing, guys. Why don't you each roll 2d6 for us?
Okay. 7.
Nice.
Oops. Did something.
Okay. What that means, George, you have 7 points of luck for the session. Luck can be spent on a one-for-one basis to modify 4.
Oh, no.
Well, at least that first one was better, so you got 4 points. You can spend this on a one-for-one basis this round or this session to affect dice rolls. So, then why don't you give us a go ahead and click on
just for my personal knowledge, is that part of hero system or is that house rule?
I think they call it hero points in this, but it is basically it's an optional rule you can play with, and it's in the core rulebook now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Great. Awesome.
We talked before we went live that there's some rules that I play with that are optional. Stunting powers is an optional thing, but it's also suggestions. Like one of the nice things with Hero System is there's tons of suggestions, and the more that the game has gone along, the more they have like for newcomers to the game, there's a lot to learn to learn what the fundamentals are and kind of how they apply. But once you're familiar with the game and and you understand like what 60 points of a power can get you, it's super easy to improvise spells on the fly. You can eyeball shit. So like the game seems the game is ideally suited to play that kind of super heroic, like I'm going to use my power in a way I didn't before kind of stuff at great expense and great risk. That's an optional thing. But even in 6th edition, they have introduced that as a regular concept of stunting something new. So I applaud them for that. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
So why don't you give us a arcane and occult lore roll, please?
Okay, here we go. 8.
Nice. So what tells us you succeeded by 5 because you got your roll of 13. Yep. So and you are a 5 under it. So what you know about this, or at least what research you've done thus far, is that this knife appears to be something that is, it seems to have been used to anchor things from a spirit realm. Like this is a primordial. Those who are not in the magical lore, like in the magical world, will date things back to, they'll think human civilization goes back to the Bronze Age and back to Mesopotamia, and then it ends there. But those characters like yourself who are more in the know, that well before that, 30,000 years ago was the Atlantean Age, and 10,000 years before that was the Terrakian, no, the Valdorian age, and 10,000 years before that was the Valdorian age. So there are whole ages of magic, very much like, you know, Conan's Hyperborea. There is, in this one, there's sort of like a Tolkien-esque or D&D-esque like fantasy world that collapses because of a magical catastrophe. There's a swords and sorcery style thing that raises up afterwards that it also collapses. There's a successor kingdom where Atlantis was around that also collapses, and then we get into closer to modern history. Your character's aware that this thing, this dagger, you know, the quote-unquote experts, the scientists will date this thing to maybe like 6,000, 7,000 years old. And you're clear like, no, this is a 30,000-year-old knife, you fucking idiots.
Right. Like, and let's just hope history doesn't repeat itself anytime soon.
Yeah. So
constant collapsing.
What you know is that this thing is... the dagger itself is definitely a very powerful thing that could be misused. So the fact that you were dreaming about it, you only dream about things when there's trouble. What do you think you would do to try and locate this? And I think what the other heroes that make up the guard are away, but Mindshift. Jeff, tell us a little bit about Mindshift. How does he, when he's sort of roped in by Dr. Caliburn and introduced to Arcadius, if you guys want to role play through the intro, go nuts too.
Yeah, I'm kind of imagining that maybe there is some psychic nature to this event and to this location, and so you've asked Mindshift to accompany you, just knowing that he is the member of the guard who has sort of psychic powers and maybe a bit of an external sense for that aspect of it. And
yeah, one of the things that is unique about Mindshift, I'll just sort of interrupt, Jeff.
No problem.
We can get Mindshift's powers. He is a mutant with a clairsentient ability, but as a result of so he can project his view, he can see very, very far away. But as a result of him trying to develop a psychic warp drive as part of a it's like the deep space kind of travel thing, he somehow dramatically changed his mutant power. So now he actually can move himself through space as effectively like traveling in a living warp bubble.
Right. They were trying to develop
Jeff?
a warp engine that was sort of like powered by remote viewing, essentially, like by the ability of the psychic to see beyond their space of their mind. They could power the engine over there, and basically they built something, and when it operated, instead of projecting the vehicle, it only projected Dr. Mansfield, and thus he sort of became Mindshift. And once it was sort of unlocked within himself, he understood how to use his psychic powers to shift his physical body around space. And so it was the idea too was that like it happened, we're playing sort of in modern times, and so I talked to Kevin, I sort of envisioned like how SpaceX or a lot of these things like have their launches all broadcast, like this was on live internet broadcast. And so Dr. Mansfield immediately became famous as sort of this psychic who could propel himself. So he doesn't have a secret identity. He has a super identity that, sort of took over his life at that point. Mm-hmm.
I think that's another thing that's attractive to Johannes, which is like somebody distract from himself. Like,
right.
People will like immediately gravitate toward Mindshift. Like, oh, can I get an autograph?
Yeah, exactly.
Around the back.
Yeah. Oh, Mindshift's here. Cool.
So one of the things that you can, like I mentioned, you can do with your lesser spells is you can just, as long as you got access to a magical library, you can swap out your points.
Yeah.
So I will note as well, like one such thing you could do is there's a power called Mind Link, which I think kind of speaks for itself for what it does. That only costs 10 points to be able to connect with any like other human, and that could, in theory, allow you to link with him and be able to help see and guide where his clairsentience might go.
I feel like that would be a really great way to ensure that we are completely in sync.
Cool.
Okay, so what? Tell us how this looks when you're bringing your spell into effect here to link up with Mindshift's mind, and then Jeff, you can tell us what it looks like when you activate your clairsentience.
I don't think it's like literal Doctor Strange, like, or Marvel Cinematic Universe version where he's doing like crazy, gestures. It's not a big somatic component to it or anything. He just sort of like stills himself, maybe closes his eyes or halfway closes his eyes and like really focuses and concentrates. And I think he like sort of for some reason vibrates a little bit, although people might not notice it, but he feels it. And then suddenly it's like a building up a power, and then boom, it happens, and I make the connection or whatever the spell is.
Yeah. Okay, so your your metaphorical third eye opens, and then you are now sharing the perspective of Mindshift. Jeff, tell him what is Johann or Arcadius. If we're really leaning into the Constantine homage here.
Yeah, Constantine. Yeah, right.
It's right. Arcadius is for sure what people would call him.
Yeah.
But your call though. So, what does Johannes Arcadius see?
Well, so I think like the third eye is like a perfect description of sort of what Mindshift, like when he uses his clairsentience, because he can only see. So I think like sort of right out of his pineal gland, whatever, pineal, like that part of the brain, the part that they say, like, so it's like, sort of like this blue energy looking eye sort of opens right out of sort of the center of his brain, and that's what he projects. And so like wherever we're going to send this sort of third eye is. And
what Dr. Caliburn is doing, he's assisting in this to a degree to help push effectively like your dreams, Johannes, through Mindshift's powers, and then to have it land where you were dreaming of, and this is where your dream lands.
Very interesting. Does this have any? Do I have any knowledge or recollection of where this place happens to be?
Why don't you each give us a perception check, please? It should be on the core page of your character sheet. Right near the bottom, there's a button for rolling perception. It's based off of your intelligence. Wow, success by 8. And fail by 1. So what Mindshift?
I'm still getting used to this weird connection that we're.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whereas Mindshift is very used to like seeing very far and then orienting himself from that. You are actually on the shores of Lake Erie, just near down into Ohio. I can show you on a map here.
Interesting.
Is this the right one? Yeah. So right around here. Oop, wrong button. Right around here. On the American side of Lake Erie.
Yeah.
So you open up your eyes. Mindshift, do you share the information of where this place is?
Yeah, and I think like Mindshift is like, at first he like quotes like something probably akin to like the latitude and longitude, and then he's like, sorry, the American side of Lake Erie.
Okay.
Yeah, off my like strange look that I give you. You give me a bunch of numbers.
Yeah.
Johannes, is it Johannes or Arcadius?
Let's go with Arcadius.
Arcadius, okay.
For fun.
So Arcadius, this is the thing you saw to your vision, and it's equally. It's a bit weird because Mindshift can only see. He cannot hear. He cannot smell. He cannot sense or whatnot. So it's this bizarre sensation, like because you've only got the one sense and it overwhelms your others. It gives you the impression of being there, but deafened and completely insensate otherwise.
And do I understand that what we're seeing is currently happening. Like the vision that Mindshift is having is of this moment in time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Creepy overcast skies, and then Caliburn, I guess once he releases, says, "Oh, well, there. That's what you saw, Arcadius?"
That is the place.
Oh, I suppose if trouble waits there then. And he gestures against one of the walls, and this is like a big mansion on the inside. There's big, like wood framed doorways that kind of lead into other things. He gestures towards one, and there's a different light that comes out from underneath one. He says, "There you are. That should save you some flying time."
And is that all you're going to tell us about this place before we go there?
Oh, I don't know anything further about that. Isn't that your job, Johnny?
I thought perhaps you might have some. It doesn't matter. Yes, I will find out.
He puts both hands up.
Already.
Due to my oath, I am forbidden from interfering.
I give him a wink.
Yes.
Right.
He takes both hands and kind of gestures towards the door.
Understood. And I do like a finger gun.
Okay.
Because he's a jerk. I use this guy, my character.
Do you expect
ready,
danger
Mindshift?
there? Yeah. And I think
Good
you see him, he's been like in probably like a more relaxed outfit, like not in his, he looks at you expect danger, and like sort of he's gone and he comes back and he's sort of like wearing his superhero outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let us go.
Good. I think this is more you. Like the ensemble. This is more you. I like this look.
Thank you.
So that's like the last thing he says is we're like heading.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you push. It's a big double door that leads into like a dining room normally, but you throw it open, and what it opens to is the lawn of this place. It's very much exactly like you see in the picture. Overcast skies, dusk probably. Hey, sidekick.
Yes.
Very thematically appropriate. It's Darwin the Boy Wonder.
Darwin, what are you doing, buddy? Yeah. You want to say hello to Kevin and Jeff? We wave up
buddy.
there. Yeah, there you go. Okay. I can't hear you guys, but I'm.
No.
Okay. Can you go out there, Captain? Sorry. You can go ahead. I'm gonna mute myself.
So what? As you guys, I'm assuming, step through the portal out into there. What you see is exactly that. There's the overcast skies. It looks like it's threatening to rain, but is not raining. It's great seeing him raise up off camera because it looks like he's flying.
Yeah.
So what? Mindshift. As you step out, there are no lights in the. At least that you can see in the building, notwithstanding the photograph. What do you guys wish to do next?
I'm gonna follow Mindshift's lead because I assume he knows more about. I mean, obviously he has this power to see things, but besides that, I think he knows more about the world in general. He's such a public figure that he's used to dealing with reality. And I'm like, researching ancient books in like old libraries that have been around for millennia, and like I'm like this kind of strange guy who is not great with people.
Which is true. So if it is the superhuman world, that is absolutely true. You are pretty good with the magical side of things, though. You can see your skills include like the arcane and occult lore. So this is something that is more of a magical thing. You can definitely take advantage of those. You have demonology. You also have that sense magic ability.
I think I would start with arcane and occult lore to see if I recognize this location as being something that comes from historical, mystical, magical history.
Nice. Right in the nose. So there are. Oh boy, I can't remember the. Would it shock you to learn I forgot to bring a book?
I know it must be handy though.
It is in the other room. It's true.
Oh, the other room. Okay.
Yeah, I have an unreasonable stack, but what is? Let's see. It's.
While we have 1 second, just out of curiosity, KS. What does KS stand for?
Knowledge skill. KS is a knowledge skill.
Okay.
PS
Just
is
like
a professional
Mythos.
skill. SS is a science skill.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because those things are sort of like broad categories. You can fill in with what you need for the whatever kind of campaign you're playing.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense. Great.
okay, so what this is, let's just we'll call it. I'm going to call it Lakeside. That's the laziest.
See, by the side of a lake, what could be a good name for it?
Yeah, exactly. J.K. Rowling school of naming.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Hey, it worked. It worked pretty well.
Yeah,
for her,
yeah,
let's just-
exactly.
To be honest, we won't forget it. Put it that way.
Oh, here we're calling. I'm going to call it. Ebbins Head Manor. This is a notorious place because, in the same way, you may be, well, Arcadia certainly would know about, there is a notorious, which I can't remember the name of, to be honest, mansion that lies on the shores of Loch Ness. And the reason that it is notorious is because the great beast, Aleister Crowley, lived there for a very long time working his black magics. And it's said to that place, if not before, and then afterwards, it held a powerful magical connection and a resonance. Ebbins Head Manor is very, very much the same. It is sort of the New World equivalent of that. While the New World still is young, as you know, from a colonial perspective, the expanse of occultic societies from Western Europe into there came from the very first, pilgrims arriving in here. So this has a history of 300 plus years of it being a place of power.
I love it because Jimmy Page owned that mansion eventually at some point.
Oh, nice!
I do know that.
Oh yeah, right.
I don't know what it's called. I'm wearing an ACDC shirt. Yeah. This is my. I do know. So that's very cool.
Awesome. So you see this? That is what you know about this place, and it. I don't know why it didn't dawn on you before, but standing here before it, and maybe like even without activating your power to your sense magic, you just can feel that there is a magic resonance here. So if you were to have a powerful primordial dagger of forgotten magics, and by forgotten magics, like one of the things you would know as a cultist, that with the passage of each of those ages, the rules of magic were completely rewritten. So it's like having the world change and suddenly physics work differently. Like that's how fundamental the changes were in these ages.
Wow.
So this thing survives that from way back in that time. Using that in a place that sort of thins the walls between the real world and the others. Not a good not a good combination necessarily.
I think once I make that realization, I will put my hand up to mind shift and give me 1 second, and then I will use my mage sense to see if there's something active going on right now, or barriers, or some other potential problem we could encounter. Whoops! I
think it is.
There we go.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Oh no, that's just the. I think the sense is under where your perception was before.
Okay.
Because usually it has all the senses.
Yep, it's there.
Okay.
You're right. Okay, there we go.
Nice.
10 out. Okay.
So you sense out, and what? Brimstone. There was recently. There was a working of infernal magics that brought someone here, and if you maybe come close to where you look down. There are scorched boot prints in the ground that face towards the toes, facing towards the manor, and your sense, whatever, as if something suddenly appeared here, scorching the earth with diabolic power, and then made its way in towards the mansion.
And not to sort of fully take the lead on this, but I feel like I would just draw on my knowledge of demonology to see if this is normal. Is what would cause. What does it take for a diabolic entity? Yeah.
This is sort of a
materialize.
It's perhaps something that this is in the same way that boats would land likely either at a dock or at those stairs that we can see in the photo. In the same way that those traveling interdimensionally or whatnot or portals would probably there's a soft place to sort of land amidst the tumult of magical power that surrounds this place.
Okay. I will convey all of that to Mindshift. Need to proceed carefully. They're demons.
I've never fought a demon.
It is human footprints in there. What you can do is, Mindshift, you don't have any knowledge of Superhuman World, right?
I don't think so, no.
Johannes or Arcadius, you have of the occult world. Why don't you give us a roll on that? I'm going to give you a -2 just because I think this might be more in the superheroic realm, but let's see.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, amazing.
Pretty good.
So let me tell you about a villain who goes by the moniker the Black Paladin. I believe I have...
I love this artwork.
Yeah.
The Black Paladin, with that, this is someone who you've come across before. He is, with a roll that good, Black Paladin is a powerful supervillain who claims to be a knight from Arthurian times and to have once defeated Lancelot. His mace, sword, armor, and shield are all enchanted. He also possesses a magical lance that he uses while riding his demonic steed, Darkling. From 2003 to 2009, Black Paladin was imprisoned in Stronghold, the superhuman, prison, though the government never uncovered his true identity. He escaped when Menton broke free in 2009. The Black Paladin also knows a few spells, such as ones to create a blinding fog and one to summon demons. Since resuming his villainous career in 2009, the Black Paladin has had the patronage of Baphomet, the Lord of Wrath. The Archdevil gave the Black Paladin a signet ring that allows him to teleport, thus replacing the enchanted armor that Black Paladin lost when he was captured. You also know that Black Paladin suffers painful burns if splashed with or immersed in holy water.
I turn to Mindshift and say, I'm afraid I have bad news. You're going to have to go first.
Let me take a look around. And I think at that, he would use his super speed to sort of scout the perimeter of the property.
Yep. So what you see here, if you're staying outside of the building, there is no sign of anyone on the property. Oh, I've already got these damn things here. Huh.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily have gone in alone, but I would definitely speed around the.
So you speed around.
Perimeter.
Give us a perception check then. Let's just see what if you rolled particularly well, we may have picked up something. Okay.
Not bad.
You don't see anything, but when you get near the house, you do notice that the door coming from the lakeside, in the front of this, you can picture there's a massive garage, and there's a big door leading in here to the manor. It has been smashed in, and it appears as if by someone quite powerful.
Yeah. So I would come back. The back door is smashed open.
Going out or going in?
In.
In.
Well, that does not bode well. I will be right behind you.
Then let us enter.
Very well. And I will be keeping my eye out, as we proceed.
Sure. Now, you can quite easily remember that your character can also fly, independent of his multi-power.
I think so. Just to give you a sense of what I'm thinking this character's kind of modus operandi is in general is to keep a low profile.
Okay.
So doesn't want to let anybody know he's a not only have some kind of superpowers, but like knows anything about magic, or he wants to be able to fade into the woodwork essentially. So he always kind of.
Let me make the suggestion then. How many points are you got? 30 points of flight.
Yes, I think that's right. Let me pull it. Where's my flight?
Let's see here.
Yes, here it is. Yes.
Okay.
Wings of Wind.
Yeah, is 30. Give me a second here.
30 minutes. I mean, I don't think I see anybody. If I first look around and feel like we are as alone as possible, I will.
How about this?
Definitely use powers.
What would you think if you don't see this character being flying and whatnot? What if we just converted over to 30 meters of teleportation?
That's great, because he would totally want to be able to do that, because then he can go zoom, zoom.
Yeah,
and,
so then that's what. Yeah. So
that he created.
Instead of 30, you can change it to be display. Instead of saying 30 points of flight, 30 points teleportation. And you can give it whatever name you want the power to be.
Awesome.
So then, and as it's built, it's only yourself. But yeah, you can just vanish and reappear wherever you like. Then within 30 meters.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So
I will not do that at the moment, but I will have that at the ready.
Okay.
And so, just as a game rule question, in talking about these stunting rules, if let's say I got into a situation where I needed to get out of there, but my companion was with me and I wanted to take him along, could I stunt that in some way?
Yes, you could. You could. Let's see here.
And it would be a multiplier.
Yeah, we would. I think it's we might build it as, depending on how you decide to describe it. Like if it's opening a portal, it might be like usable by others. If it's something you want to use to try and just bring someone else, it might be usable usable on others. And if you wanted to do it, like say it as an attack, to like, well shit, and like get that, you could also you buy it as an attack. Lots of different ways you can
I love all of those options, and suddenly I flashed on this Matt Damon movie, which now I can't recall the name of, but I will think of it, where he's like, passing through these doors and
with the hat, with a fucking fedora hat.
Exactly.
Adjustment Bureau.
Adjustment Bureau. Yes, I kept thinking the FBI. I'm like, that's not right.
No joke. The Adjustment Bureau led me to breaking up with a girlfriend.
Okay, well,
she's like, this movie's amazing, and I'm like, we can't date anymore.
There you go. Okay, so
this is the final fucking straw.
Could have been cool, not so much. But Matt Damon's great. Like, So I imagine it that way. Yeah, we all get it.
Yeah.
So I imagine that there's like, I kind of manifest a door, but it looks like a normal regular door.
Okay.
But it wasn't there a second ago, and I open it and I have to pass through.
Okay.
And so I think that's how it would work, because I'm trying to always downplay the magicness of everything, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Making it look as mundane as possible.
Absolutely. Okay.
I'll think of a name for it.
Yeah. So, mind you, if Arcadius is telling for you to take the lead here, well, I think let's just do this, guys. Let's jump in. We got half an hour left here.
I think that all I would say is sure, I'll keep it slow for you.
And I think that's where you notice that someone is stalking out. Apparently, so the caution has allowed something tucked into his belt. There is a very ornate bronze dagger with a little curve at the end that has leather straps written on it. And that is who is stalking out. Now, allow me to do this.
Nice.
Let me... so this doesn't fuck up again.
I hope he's like 9 feet tall.
That's
how he feels to me.
He definitely is. Okay, and let me make sure I use this here.
I think I would glance at you. That's the guy.
All right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So each round consists of 12 segments, and we always start on segment 12 at the start of a combat. So let's picture he's about 20 meters away from you guys. He walks out and sees you, so there's no surprise. And you can hear from inside that like helmed, thing, Arcadius. Now, What we do is the reason we start at 12 is because at the end of 12. You can take an action to catch your breath. What you do is you sort of, you do nothing else for one round for a full turn for yourself, and during that round you get to gain endurance and stun back equal to your recovery stat. The other time you get that is at the end. It's called a post-12 recovery. At the end of 12, everybody gets their recovery in their stun or endurance back as long as they're conscious.
Okay.
So with that,
and if you choose to do it purposefully and not wait, does it happen twice? In like you take
you can take as many
action and then
you can take as many catch your breath like recovery actions as you like. The downside is your DCV is halved for the time.
Okay.
So it's a good idea to be somewhere safe to sort of catch your breath. It's one of my favorite mechanics of this thing because it really the classic superhero kind of like, whew, he hits a lot harder than I thought. Let's go. You know, it captures it perfectly, both in like your ability to use your powers and your stun. Mindshift, you have the best dexterity, so you are up first. What are you doing? You see him 20 meters away. He's got this massive shield. That you can't see. You can't see the front. On the shield, there is a sinister-facing crow. A crow facing to the left side. Hence his name, the Crow Knight.
So I think in the first round, what I would do is sort of circle around him, like at the 20 meter range, like maybe even 30. I'd be like 30 on the other side or 20 on the other side. Circle around so that like we're on opposite sides of him.
Well, he just stepped out of the building, so unless you're going to move into the building.
No, what? I thought, I see what
you guys
you're
were
saying.
approaching the building?
Like,
you guys were talking about what to do. You're about to approach the building. He just stepped out of the building. He's got that dagger tucked into
then
his...
to the side at a 45, like I would.
Okay. Is that all you're doing, just moving?
Move to the edge of the building.
Okay.
Or like the side, like...
Okay.
And I would just, position myself.
Johans, what are you doing? Or Arcadius?
So having encountered this gentleman previously, I know he packs a punch.
Yes.
So my first inclination is to cast Shield of Sorcery.
Okay.
Nice.
So this is another good opportunity to talk about a rules.
Yes. So Shield of Sorcery
creates
the way that yours. I don't think it's a force field. Let me double check here. Force field actually requires you to activate it. Let's see here. All that is just it is something that you just need to. It costs you nothing. In the same way you can change your points. Activating automatic powers always takes you no action. So you've got your Shield of Sorcery up. What does that look like?
Well, I think there's like a momentary warp of my whole body, from foot to head, and then it's there, and nobody can see it after that. And then, it says I have 10 PD for 10 ED. So do I determine how much I'm spending right now, or how is that?
What that means, your character sheet should actually say. So it should be. Let me. I'm not.
I think it's like gain 10 ED.
So what is listed as your total?
ED.
You have 10 resistant PD, which is great because that if he gets.
I see.
If he gets Eater of Shadows out, that will be helpful to protect against that.
Yeah. So I can't adjust those numbers. That's like the static.
No, that's
value
that's a static thing. The thing you get to pick that's adjustable though is your multipower. Where do you want your slot of multipower? And you also get to pick where you want your what do you call it? Where you want your levels to go if you're using that power. Because remember on the on the combat tab, you've got your 2 levels. I see they're in DCV. Is that where you wanted them?
You know what? No, let's go a little bit for broke here. I'll put 1 in OCV, 1 in DCV.
Okay.
Which I just did, and but my objective in terms of my multipower is to use Irresistible Slumber. I want to try to basically, and I don't know if this is actually going to work. I'll put it this way: it's never worked before.
Okay.
But I'm willing to do it one more try.
Is this the Mental Blast?
This is the last time. This is, Mind Blast.
So here's what you do. You would know from previous fights with this fella. He is a physical fucking powerhouse. Like, you've seen him cut down bricks. You've seen him blast, battle suit wielders out of the sky. One of the things he is, unfortunately, weak to is mind affecting things.
Well, I know a little bit about what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Apparently.
Go right ahead.
So I'm preparing to. So does that go off immediately when I decide to cast in this phase?
When you click on it,
Okay.
it'll make an attack. So here's what's going to happen: is that you use you're going to want to put, because it's a mental blast, into your OMCV. That is your mental combat value. Because you're targeting not his DCV, you're targeting his defensive mental combat value.
Right. So we'll do that. Hold on a second. Okay, done.
Okay.
And then I go back to powers, and that's where I actually click it.
Click on it. Yep. Go right ahead.
Okay.
Let me compare it to his. Okay. Nice. Okay. So DMCV is 6. It says DCV, but it means DMCV. So that is actually good enough to affect him, even though it's a pretty crappy roll. And 16 points of stun. So here's what I do: is I take a look at his stats. I then subtract from your 16 his extensive mental resistance, which is 0.
Ooh, okay.
What does your mental blast look like?
I think it is rings, concentric rings.
Yep.
Like expand as I leave my mind and slam into his head, essentially.
He grits his teeth. Now, unfortunately, you didn't do 16 is not enough to exceed his constitution, so he's not stunned. So then it is his turn.
Okay.
You have got his attention. So then, and then you're going to subtract, I think it's like 2 endurance or
right.
whatever the endurance
Sorry,
is.
I didn't do that. Yes.
That is okay.
It is, let me make sure I get it right here. 6.
6. Okay. Now you are the most threat, and he looks up at you, and he delivers classic cheesy, Arcadius, you're always such a headache. He gestures with his hand, and what manifests, instead of him drawing the sword, you see it just kind of manifests in his hand as if appearing from some kind of magical trick. And he will raise the sword up towards you, pointing it, and you unfortunately know what's coming, because there is a tendrils of oily black smoke that sort of begin near the hilt and then move their way down and blast towards you with unholy power. What is your DCV currently? Yeah.
8.
8. Okay, so he has an 11 for OCV. So 11 plus 22, or 11 plus 11 is 22. Minus 8 is a 14, and you have 14 or higher to hit you. So I'll roll in chat here.
Okay.
You're 20 meters away?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So hold on. Actually, there's a range penalty that applies as well.
Oh, okay. I'll take it.
20 meters minus 4. He needs. So he actually needs a 10 or less to hit you. So here we go. Oh, that'll do it. All right. So here's what we do: is I'll roll his damage from this. He didn't pump it up or anything. 48 points of damage. Now,
what?
First thing we do.
This game is broken.
First thing we do is subtract. How many 6s did I roll there?
I know. That's crazy. Okay, so I subtracted my.
So fortunately, I think your total ED right now is what, 12?
My total. Sorry, I'm on the wrong page here. Go back to court. My total ED normal ED 16.
16, fantastic. So that means you take 32 points of stun. So you are knocked
clean. Which I have 30.
Yeah, so you are not. Well, you're actually at minus. You can go below, but because you're less than minus 10, it means that on the post 12 recovery, you will automatically recover, and you'll gain your recovery stat back in stun. His body damage does not get through it, but next thing we do is we check for. Let's say I rolled 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. I roll 2d6. And I'm going to subtract this from 13. That's 14 meters you're knocked back.
Oh, wow.
Oh. So you go flying through the air, and then you're not quite unconscious, but you're very, very close to it. Then
not surprising.
we go to the post-12 recovery. So everyone look at your recovery stat. You recover. I don't think you use any mind shift. You can add your recovery back in stun and in endurance. Bring yourself back up to full endurance.
Now there's a button that says recover.
That is broken. There is,
okay.
yeah. Unfortunately, there is something that is there's something going on with the coding in it that always wants to default back to 20. So if you do hit that, it'll automatically set all of your endurance, stun, and body to 20 instead of what it actually is. So what is your recovery stat?
And well, that's what I'm.
It'll be near the bottom, near where your endurance. I can find it for you, actually.
Sorry.
It's the fourth one from the bottom under your characteristics.
Under.
Your recovery is
under core.
Okay.
Yeah,
rec.
core.
Under core. I'm sorry. That's why I'm.
Your rec is an 8.
Ooh.
So you'll be at 6 stun right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you. And then what is his recovery? Recovery's a 12.
Oh.
Okay. Then, now, what you could have done as well is there is an option to abort to certain things. So if you see he's going to hit you, you can abort, which means you use up your next action to do something like a dodge. A dodge, I think, gives you +4 to your, if you go to the combat tab, see the maneuvers like dodge gives you +3 to your DCV.
Okay.
Blocking, you can try and use an attack, use your OCV to try and block the attack. So there are ways you can do that. 3 in this case wouldn't have made a hell of beans difference, but it is something you can do. Okay.
So it's kind of like a reaction to some event that's triggered it, and I then lose the next action I would have taken.
Precisely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Then we're on top of the new round. Mindshift, you're up. What are you doing?
Well, now I see that he hits really hard, so I think I should hit him really hard.
Okay.
So I'm going to use my my battering ram power, which is called Mind Hammer.
Okay.
And move through him.
Nice.
Okay.
And try to hammer him as hard as I can.
Okay.
Now the roll is probably not set up correctly.
Well, it should be. I mean, we've got your OCV entered correctly. We've got your levels. As long as you got your levels ticked. Let me take a look at you.
So I added we added the move through from the one power that I took, but I added the other one that only works for Mind Hammer.
Okay, and I got them triggered as well.
Okay, so let's turn a couple of them to OCV and a few of them to damage.
Okay.
And try to hammer this guy really hard.
Okay. He does have that shield in his hand as well, too. I'll just mention. So whenever you are ready.
Okay, and then, but I just mean if I click the power, I'm not sure that it's going to roll anything other than.
Let's see here.
Because it doesn't have anything.
Oh, you know what? I didn't add. Hold on, I can do this though. Give me wrong character, Madison. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, you might know what to put in there. I just don't.
Well, we actually. Yeah, for this, let's see here.
It does plus.
We click on the attack.
66 HA. Yeah.
Yeah, and we got to go into edit. There we go.
And now I'll describe while Kevin's typing these things in. So what it looks like when Mindshift moves is it's like cell animation sort of style. Like if you were to draw a person running, but then like drag it across the screen sort of at the wrong frame rate. So like it looks like he's running and like almost like skipping frames or skipping distance as he runs. So to him, he's like running the distance that a normal person would run, but he's using his mind to sort of like extend that. So if you were drawing it in the comics, you would draw him like, you know, six images of him across the page kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I just think that like I've been knocked like senseless and I can't actually understand what you're really doing.
Yeah, like it would look nonsensical. Yeah,
that should work now, Jeff.
Okay, let's try it out. Mind Hammer. And this is sort of like, so it's a move through attack.
I just need to turn off the hit location for it.
Yeah.
I can do that.
So the way it
afterwards.
works is like he like actually like And because it's sort of a psychic attack in the end, he's like physically moving his body through theirs and sort of like.
Okay. I have news. You come racing in exactly. There's that after images that are going by, and what he does is brings that shield around and basically deflects you off of it. One of the things the shield does, the shield is a multi-power. And like I wouldn't normally tell you guys how this, like how these things work. You would be able to infer it, but just so for your edification, the shield is built as a multi-power that has what's called a focus. One of the classic parts of Champions, George, is focuses. Focuses are either, generally speaking, the most like prominent ones are obvious ones, which are anyone can tell where the power is coming from, and then whether they are accessible or inaccessible. An accessible, obvious, accessible focus would be something like Captain America's shield. You can see it, and it can be taken away in combat, right? You can tell where it's coming from. You can take it away from them as a combat maneuver. An obvious, inaccessible focus is something that you can't just grab from someone. They need to actually be destroyed or taken off of them when they're unconscious. That would be something like a battle suit. Like Iron Man's power armor is an obvious, inaccessible focus. You know where the powers are coming from, but you can't just yank it out of his hand. The shield is an obvious, inaccessible focus because it's strapped onto the arm so heavily, but it can be damaged. So, but what he did for this one is he deflected you off his mind shift. You've never had anyone do this before.
Wow.
Just bounces you off of it, and you finish your move, near, like when you move, you're 30 feet away from him. You can move 60 in total, so you're 30 meters away from him on the other side.
I can move 72 total.
72, holy shit. So, 36 meters away from him. And
yeah, like basically, I'm way across.
Now, he's going to try and blast you, Mindshift. What is your DCV currently?
My DCV is 8.
Is 8. Okay, so then that is, I think, same then. I need a 14 or less, though you're 36 meters away, which puts it in the next category at -6. I need an 8 or higher to hit you. The earth right near you just kind of gets completely scorched away by the blast. He curses it and begins stalking forward. Actually, can't move after an attack. So, Johannes, what are you doing?
So I'm keeping my defenses and offense the same. But I kind of like shake it off and stumble to my feet. And I look around. I see my companion. Just at the second he's getting blasted back by the shield, I'm like, oh, I hate this guy. and I like put my hands to my temples. And I go like this, like really concentrating hard. And I'm going to do...
Let me
go ahead.
assist you with some narrative. So one of the classic things you do here in the game is you can push your powers. You can spend extra endurance to get extra effect from it. Now,
I definitely want to do that.
What I think it's in the champions thing here, pushing. Here we go. You don't have to make a roll for it because we're playing superheroes, and it is a maximum of plus 10 points. So basically, you can get 2 extra dice. If you spend 10 extra endurance on top of the regular cost, you'll roll 2d6 extra damage. Mental attack? Hold on. Mental attack? I think it's only...
I think it's mental. I'm doing Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
Is that physical?
One, then that one will be physical. That one will add plus 2.
Sorry, I know that I can't,
I will tell you that here's the reason that you. I think he targeted you initially. He has 0 defenses against the mental attack,
stuff.
and it attacks his mental combat value. The physical combat value that he just used to deflect, Mind Shift just rolled and hit a DCV 16 and did not connect. You'd be rolling against at least 17 then.
Yeah, no, I will stick with my mental blast then, realizing that. But I will push it. So it will wind up being 8d6 instead of 66.
I think it's okay. Hold on, I'm just checking the cost of, because you may notice that some of your powers are 66, some of your powers are 96 or 12 or 12d6.
That's right. This one's 66.
66. I think. Yeah, and I think that's because it's 10 points per dice. All the things are either 5, 10, or 15 points per dice of effect.
If I spend 10, I'll get 1 more die. I'll have 7d6.
Exactly, 7d6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I'm getting nervous now. I thought Mind Blast is my savior, and I'm like, oh no.
I mean, you did affect him.
I need to, but we need teamwork here.
Yeah.
I can't just rely on my companion to.
Go ahead and make your. Okay, so once
here.
you got all your points in, go ahead and make your attack.
There we go.
Your soft lumber 9. That is a solid hit, and then give us a 1.
And that did not count my the extra 1d6.
Yeah, give us an extra d6 roll. 2, so 15 in total. Look at that. Oh, you can see his blue bar, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah, so that's a huge. He looks at you.
It is, but I'm like
sorcerer. Then it is.
And I smile.
Yeah, a little bit of blood coming down your side of your head.
Exactly. I'm like.
All right, Mindshift, what are you doing?
So I see that what Arcadius is doing is got an effect, whereas my, sort of signature move was deflected.
Yep.
So what I'm going to use is my my thought power to speed up Arcadius instead of myself.
Nice.
So
okay.
this bubble, this almost like this warp sort of bubble that you can see around Mindshift, he sort of projects it around Arcadius.
Okay. So that is an aid speed,
it does
right?
aid, and it is, I believe it's 5d6.
Okay.
So I roll 5d6, and I think it's I can't remember correctly. I think it might be for every 10 I roll.
Yeah, for every 10 you roll, it increases speed by 1.
Yeah. So let's hopefully get 20.
Come on. There you go. Beautiful. So what this means is you'll be acting on all of the same phases that Mindshift is acting on, but even faster because... but after him, but before Black Paladin, if he happens to have one on the same turn.
Rather than on my normal...
Rather than on your normal one, yeah. So what we'll see is basically cool. you get to have another action. There's something that just has sped you up. And you can feel like the world is slowing down around you, maybe from your perspective. So you get to have another action now. What do you want to do?
Okay. Well, quick question, rules-wise. That when the recovery, does that include my endurance, or is that only? It
does, yeah. So if you didn't recover whatever your endurance was, so go ahead and add your rep back on for your endurance.
So +4. Let me put that back on there because I spent a lot just now. Okay. So I'm going to, as a player, I hate to do the same thing over and over again. So I want to try to fascinate him. So my objective is to sort of like distract him with my mind control.
Okay.
And make him see.
Okay, so those are two different things. What mind control does is it gives you the ability to make him do something, and depending on how contrary to his nature the action that you're trying to get him to do is, that's how much over his ego you need to roll. Mental illusions creates actual...
Sorry,
the mental illusion creates a vision, so it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get him to do something, that's mind control. If you're trying to get him to see something, that's mental illusions.
Yeah, and I think what I'm trying to do is in between those two, so I have to pick one of them.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to basically distract him so that he lets his guard down a bit and focuses on another quote-unquote threat, so that my companion now can potentially make one of his attacks.
Okay, so here, let me give you an example of what you could do here.
That's helpful in terms of rules-wise.
That shield was such a pain in the ass.
That's what I'm worried about. I don't want him to use that shield again to
let's see here. Do something he would. If you beat him, his ego plus 20 in your roll for it, you could get him to do something he strongly objects to do, but still not things he would normally never do. So if it's to drop the shield, that would be you need to beat his ego by 20.
I think I know him well enough to know that that is such a part of who he is that he would never do it, and I probably could never.
That would be ego plus 30 then.
Yeah. So here's what I'd like to do. It may not work, but this is what Arcadius is thinking.
Okay.
I'm going to make it seem like a threat is coming at him. A third companion he didn't know about on my team is flying at him.
Okay.
And he has to like use his shield to try to, deflect that attack to hopefully limit his ability to maybe do that to Mind Shift potentially.
Okay.
But that's not I don't know what the rules are for that.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be
work, but he's going to try.
Something that is
So it would be an illusion.
Let's see here. So it is. You need major changes include making friends look. Yeah, this would be a complete alteration of the setting. So it's actually a ego plus 20 is how much the effect is.
That's
that needs
about
to
the
be.
same as. You know what?
A little
I'll
less.
try it. Yeah,
Try it. It's 10 less. So go ahead.
I'm going to try it. I conjured like the image of somebody else from the guard that he would know about. Yes, exactly. So it's not like a totally made up thing. So it could have some possibility of really being true.
Yep. So this is going to be an OMCV attack. So if you want to put your levels wherever you want.
I think I did it already. Let me double check that I did. Yep, I did.
And then go ahead and make your attack roll when you're ready.
So I did. I got an 11.
11. So DMCV 9. No, that's actually really good. You were fucking close. So that is a 42. I can tell you that as far as he's concerned, it's exactly the way you described. Someone suddenly, Timberline slams down and pulls a fist back like he's going to hit him. Hi, sweetie. On his turn, he swings at this illusory thing because he completely believes it. Now, hi. Yes. So that is.
Yes, Anna knows it's 10.
Yeah, exactly. This
or
dog,
9.
it's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Or 8.
The internal clock in this dog. Okay,
Totally.
so it swings. Then it is phase 5, and he curses as Timberline does not go down. That it's not Arcadius. You don't have it. You're acting on 6. So Mind Shift, you're up next. What are you doing?
Okay, so I see this ruse, and I'm going to attempt my, Mind Hammer again to see if I can just get him while he's distracted.
Remember, if you're shifting away from aid, that will remove those points that have boosted Johan's.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
But I mean, he did the whole thing so that I could try this.
Got it. Okay.
That's right.
So Arcadius, you have yourself. Oh, hi. What are your regular speed again now? And then Mind Shift, once you've made all your changes, go right ahead. Again, he is very that shield is still up, so I would plan for a very hard to hit target.
Right.
Unless you attack the shield itself.
That's OCV, right? For me to try and hit him?
Yes, offensive combat value, yeah.
Right.
The more points you put in that, the better chance you will have of hitting.
Right. Okay. I think I did it right. Yeah.
Okay. Come on.
All right, here we go. Come
Go.
on. Good roll.
Oh,
my God,
that's garbage.
a terrible roll.
Now,
Instead of a good roll, it's horrible.
This is probably the last attack of the thing. You
I have 4 points of luck.
we
but
know
won't
that
be
you
enough.
are. So if you spend 8 points, you'll hit him. 8 points of luck. Oh, you only got 4. You got 4.
I only rolled a 4. Yeah.
All right,
No,
so you race in, and he once again deflects you off, and it is Black Paladin's turn.
Oh no.
But you've run away again. I think he's going to try and follow up. What's your DCV right now, Mind Shift?
It's the same. It's
8 again?
8, yeah.
Okay, so and you're 36 away, so I need an 8 or less to hit you. Oh, so close. Then it is Mind Shift's turn again. What are you doing?
Well, let's just try again because we kind of don't have a lot of time. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, do it.
maybe I'll roll good for once.
Come on, or at least close enough for the. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
1 point you need to spend. All right. So
Yeah,
that
which I
slams
have.
into him. He takes 39 points of stun, and you take half of that. So you would take what? 19 points of stun. Does that even get through your PD?
No, I have special PD for this.
Okay, so here is the thing. This is
34 PD for this.
I was talking about like you were thinking about using your energy defense, George. Watch his health bar, or the blue stun bar.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Hits him now. That did 11 points of body. Jeff, give us a 2d6 roll. Let's see if you knock him back. There you go. It says knockback 5. Does he have any knockback resistance? I don't. He does not. So actually, you hit him. He goes flying back. You know, and about. I don't. His armor is so heavy, but it does smash him into the wall. Like you clip him on the side, and it sends him tumbling along a little bit. Johannes?
Okay. You had mentioned that he had the dagger tucked into his belt. Is that right? Okay. I want to make up a spell.
Okay.
To try to basically a mage hand, for lack of a better term, to try to grab it out of his belt.
Okay. So if you want to stunt that, why don't we do this? Let's have you give us a arcane and occult roll to successfully stunt this.
Okay. Here we go.
See here. You got 2 points of luck, I guess. So
I do have. Yes, I have enough luck.
Okay.
I got
so you
luck,
success. So
we'll
it cost you 5 times what it would cost. So here's what you need to do: is we're not going to buy it out. I'll let you use because you could buy it to only lift a small amount of stuff. You're going to make a grab attack on him. So what you're going to do, but you're using OMCV. Basically, use your mental attack power, and we'll make the attack roll with that. I think the cost is probably going to be about. It's probably going to be 5 times the cost. Oh, you might actually knock yourself out with this.
I was going to say, it's possible, but I would do it.
But that's okay. We can buy it as, let's say it'll take 15.
What I would try to do, by the way, is get that dagger not to come to me, but go to Mind Shift.
Oh, okay, nice.
Knowing I might knock myself out.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do this here. Let's. So when you hit 0 endurance, I don't think you pass out at 0 endurance. I think it just means that you are unable to take actions, or you take stun damage for hitting a 0. Yes, a character at 0 endurance can still act, but you burn stun in place of endurance. So it'll be 15 points of endurance, bring you down to 0. Go ahead and make and again, put your points into OMCV and DMCV. This will be going against his DCV. So it's going to be it'll be tough because you're physically trying to interact. You just happen to be using your attack roll. So judge your.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'll put it into OCV. And can I put both of these things into OCV?
Okay. Put them both into OMCV because that's what your mental attack uses, or your mental blast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
OMCV on both of them. Okay, got it.
Okay.
And then where is the? I'm looking for the roll.
If you just click on
I'm using a mental power.
So you're just going to click on the power itself for. Wrong character. 50% chance of that. Your mental blast uses OMCV to attack, so it'll give us the accurate roll.
Perfect. Here we go.
Okay. DCV 8. Do you? Oh, why the fuck did I close his book? Oh my God, Madison! I'm like, well, he's going to kill you guys. No need for this anymore.
You're probably not wrong.
You will need to spend 2 points of 2 points to get the. Oh,
do you have
10?
I have 5 luck right now.
Oh, you have 5 left. Okay, so we need 2. We'll say you need 2. 2 to get a success to yank it out of his belt.
Okay.
And then it, flies over to land at Mindshift's feet. And then you're really near losing consciousness once again. Black.
I think I dropped to a knee, like I'm down on one knee. Yeah.
Black Paladin yells out, "No!" and starts racing over towards it. His total running is an 18, so he can't even get there yet.
Yes. Okay.
Then it is Mindshift's turn. What are you doing?
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, like I think I'm gonna like pick up the dagger,
Okay.
and move away from him, like just back away, so that I've kind of gauged his speed, so that I know I'm far enough that he's got to like come at me.
Yep.
And knowing that I can sort of run back to where Arcadius is on the next round, like kind of like draw him away.
I think what we'll see
and
on 9 as well too is when you hear the knock, tuk, 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 and you guys both look over, and Dr. Caliburn is standing in a doorway that appeared from nowhere.
Yeah,
and he's
portal.
like, "Come through!" Arcadius.
I get back to my feet, and I just check mind shift. I'm assuming he understands that we need to leave immediately.
Yep.
And once we make that mental connection, I run like hell.
You could teleport as well too.
Oh, that's right. Well, wait a second though. Do I need endurance?
You'll take stun damage for it instead. Yeah.
I'm afraid I'm gonna drop. So can I make it by running?
I think if you run
It's too
full
far.
pell-mell, you would have half DCV. So you race over to the door. Then it is Black Paladin's turn. He's going to take one more shot at you, Mindshift. No! And he cries out something in French that you don't understand. Okay, so he once again needs against you. He's about it's -4, so he needs a 10 or higher to hit you, Mindshift.
Yeah.
Or just 10 or less to hit you.
Oh,
so nearly
just dodging.
Yeah,
out
and
of the
then
way.
you race through the door, Mindshift, and then Caliburn quickly closes the door behind you guys. You find yourself back at the place I'm going to go look up when we get out of the session because I keep fucking forgetting it. So then with that, Caliburn makes another gesture, and then whatever light that was showing through the corners of the doors all go out. And he looks up at the two of you, looks down at the dagger in your hand. He says, "Is this what you've been dreaming about?"
I'm like totally winded.
Yeah.
I just ran 20 meters. Give me 1 second, but I just keep pointing at it like.
Yeah. So you fall back. There's got to be a chair in the foyer. Sit down. Pack of cigarettes out from your jacket. And Mindshift, there's something odd that this dagger feels strange. You can't say why, and it's pulling on the senses, the mutant senses that have been active since you were a teenager. So it taps into your spatial abilities or perhaps interacts with it in some way. But in any event, that is that. We're well over time right now, so let us bring back to our introduction page here. So then, first off, congratulations, George, for your first successful Champions session.
Yes, super fun.
You've
Really
justified that purchase from however long ago?
That's right, from like 15 years ago.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey, excellent first outing for Mindshift.
Yeah, it was fun.
Very nice. So then, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for this impromptu beat 'em up for Champions. I will probably make a proper thumbnail for this at some point, but we had to sort of throw things together at the last minute. But I am very, very glad we did. That was really cool. Genuinely, when we played last time, and I was prepping, I was like, oh man, like Black Paladin. It's like we talked about before we went live about how there's like the rock paper scissors element, and it was like Black Paladin was paper and the two guys had nothing but rocks, so it would have been a much more challenging fight. It was very cool to see that your character had that ability to bring an extra sort of more powerful thing to bear, but also how much you need to rely on your ally to keep yourself up, right? Because that was a big hit. That wasn't even his worst attack yet. That sword. Oh man, oh man. But for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for this. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the game we're playing, or the campaign, George is in chat too. Thanks, George. Love this game. Hope you guys keep it up as a campaign. Well, George, I might have some good news to share soon. For those listening at home as well, you can find a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server where all of us are active, and we have channels there dedicated to this campaign, this campaign, and every other game we run on the channel, as well as a bunch of other great channels. Tons of great people over there. You are more than welcome to join us over there. In addition, there is a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages, the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really terrific organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphan and abandoned children. And from now until from now until June, I think it's 12th. Then the night of June 12th, I'll be doing the raffle draw for this. For every $25 Canadian that you donate through that link, and every $25, or all money goes directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help the kids who benefit from the charity. For every $25, you get one chance to win the grand prize or one of the other great prizes in our next charity raffle. The grand prize is a copy of Beadle and Grimm's Platinum Edition Wild Beyond the Witchlight, a really terrific adventure that calls back to the classic adventures of old, and some of the characters that were introduced as action figures in the days of AD&D. In addition, second prize will be a copy of the gold edition Absalon City of Lost Omens, also donated by our friends at Beadle and Grimm's. And the third prize is a copy of the Fizban's Guide to Dragons, their most recent box set that was released. And again, we are very grateful to the folks at Beadle and Grimm for generously donating those to serve as prizes. If you don't win those, there are still a bunch of other great prizes, including a chainmail dice bag made by our resident armor smith, Dave, a set of the original, or the 3 core books for AD&D 2nd Edition, Player's Handbook, DMG, and Monsters Manual, donated by Dave. Jeff has donated a full set of the new Iron Kingdom's 5th Edition books, including the DM screen. We have a bunch of prizes from the Dungeon Musings Red Bubble Shop, and there's some other prizes that our buddy J.M. DeFogie donated a copy of his excellent Jackal's Bronze Age Fantasy RPG. And a bunch of other great prizes. So tons of great prizes and tons of great ways to say thank you. And again, all money that is donated goes directly to SOS Children's Villages International to help them with their ongoing relief efforts, including ongoing relief efforts in Ukraine and the surrounding countries. The last thing I will say is a huge thank you to our players for tonight. We did not know we were going to play Champions until just when we talked in. So, George, especially for George, who has never played this before as well, too. George, thank you so much for playing. And Jeffrey, thank you so much for suggesting this as a replacement. George, in a nutshell, I don't want to keep you, we're late already, too. Was it worth the wait?
No, 100%. I mean, it's really different when, as everybody knows, to like read something, a set of rules, and then to see it in action, and you can see how fluid it really is. Whereas if you look at the books, or from my perspective, it seems a little bit overwhelming. But actually, once you got your character and everything is set, you're good to go, and you can really do things on the fly. And I had a really fun time playing the character.
Excellent. I love that. I'd love to hear that. Jeffrey, how did Mind Shift? Did he act out at the table as you were expecting him?
Yeah, I think so. Be nice to just get the rest of it entered in and finalized, maybe a real image for him.
That was my damn fault. I said I was going to do it, and I didn't realize.
Well, when you said you were going to do it, you thought you had 3 weeks, so it's kind of not really fair.
I should have known.
You didn't do it in one day, Kevin. Come on, let's go.
That's right. It was yesterday. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was yesterday that we did this.
So, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for this impromptu punch 'em up with Champions. We'll be back again on Friday with probably Overwatch. If not Overwatch, it'll be this again. Otherwise, we will be back next week with to conclude our Star Wars 2D20 session, if you did arrive for that. Until then, we hope that we gave you a couple of hours. I mean, barely an hour. We did start late as well, too, because we all got to chatting. We hope we gave you an hour or so to take your mind off of the troubles of our world and see the troubles that our superheroes, the members of the Guard, have uncovered in on the shores of Lake Erie and the machinations of Black Paladin. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.